everyone, Argsy here. Welcome along to another video for Farming Simulator 25. We're taking a look today at New Frontier, the brand new map by Ola Haldor, which is available already on the Mod Hub, but Ola's already made some big changes to it, which we're going to take a dive into in a little bit more detail. We're just flying here across the New Frontier. This was the one that we first released, the one the FSG did a preview on as well, but Ola's since updated it. Now there is 3 maps included in the package. So you've got the original one, you've also got one which is basically the same layout of trees and openness and grass, but has many smaller farmlands to purchase. So you can start off, when you're starting from scratch, start off with some smaller land, not with a big plot. And then as a third version, which uses the smaller plots but has a lot more trees and less open area, is much more forestry focused, or if you really start from scratch, more focused on clearing the land and being a true pioneer in the frontier. So we're going to take a look in just a second at exactly how each of those maps are set up. We'll go through and have a look at each of them and how you choose which one you want to. So let's dive into it. So there's only one download with the map, but within it is 3 maps. Now have a look across the top here. I've got Riverbend Springs, Bhutan, Pantine, Zelonka. We've got New Frontier, which is the original version. It's funny saying the original version when the map's only been out for a week or so. We've got the New Frontier with 69 farmlands, and then thirdly is New Frontier Forestry, which also has 69 farmlands. So 3 different versions of the map to help you even have more choice, more variety with how you want to start out on the map. So we're going to take a look at the original one, have a quick look around. Being in start from scratch map, there isn't actually a huge amount to look at, but there has been a few other changes Ola has made in between the original version and what we've got here in front of us now. So let's dive in. Going to take a look here at New Frontier, then we'll look at the 69 farmlands version, and then we'll look at the forestry version finally. So when you first load into New Frontier map, you start out basically here. We're at a bit of a clearing, gravel area. We've got the main shop just here behind us. We'll jump into in just a second and have a look at the PDA. But just to get your bearings here, we've got the shop over this side. And if we just head on over this way, we've got a fuel point. So you can come in here and fill up your tanks. We've got a repair trigger, so no vehicles or anything in there. And then that is about it here for this. So there's a few other things that Ola has added. Obviously fuel wasn't in the first one. I don't think the repair trigger was either. And there's a few other things that we'll go and take a very quick look at here. So let's just open up the PDA and have a quick look at the overall map. So when you first open up the PDA, there is 21 farmlands in total, but there really is only the 16 big main ones. Each of these is 500 meters by 500 meters. It is a 2 kilometer by 2 kilometer map, as most standard maps are. It's got a few predefined fields, and this is a requirement giants have, that there is a predefined field on the map. So we've got fields 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. Now these plots of land, let's just have a look at 11 here. 26.21 hectares, $300,000. This is the basic size of a 500 by 500 meter site. But these ones here, so 10's a little bit smaller. It's $490,000, but only 23 hectares, and that's because it takes out the area here of each of these farmlands. Likewise here, 25.62. Again, versus that 26.21. So you take out the area that the other farmlands take up because they are subdivided out of that. So buying 10, you're not actually buying those fields. You'd have to go in and buy those separately. So we're starting down here, as you can see. We're just going to exit out of that. So this is the vehicle shop down here. Zoom in, you can see the petrol tank there for that. Now over the other side here, we've got a warehouse, so you can actually buy some of the warehouse products now, which is good. Also added an animal dealer, so you can go and buy animals products or animals from there rather than having to do it through the animal pens. We've also got the sell point there of the farmers market, and of course the sawmill, which was there the whole time. Also, I believe on the track that runs sort of from the warehouse here all the way down to the sell point, it is actually an AI spline, so you could actually use AI workers to run back and forth along that if you wanted to. But otherwise, pretty much the world is your oyster here on the frontier. There's a bit of a water feature over here. There's a couple of big hills in through the middle, but other than that, it is all pretty wide and open. So we're just going to jump up into the air. We'll just take a very quick fly around and look at it, and then we'll move on to taking a look at the other 2. So starting off here, the workshop and fuel trigger, and that down below, you can see this track that runs all the way around here towards the farmers market. There is a house or a trailer house or whatever you want to call that down the track there. So if you were to buy that plot of land, you'd probably get a sleep trigger coming with that. There's a couple of the predefined fields. We're just going to, I'll press shift, and this is going to make us fly over there very fast. But get over this way, we've got the farmers market, the little warehouse down in the back corner, so if you want to buy any of the warehouse productions, farmers market sell points, got the bales on one side and the silo on the other, and then just the pens down here with some animals in it, and there is a trigger just down there on the edge, which is where you can come and bring your trailer if you want to go and buy some animals. Kind of cool how this is just all scattered in around here. And then zooming right over the other side here, we've got the sawmill, where you can bring your logs and trees and get those sold. A couple more fields, field 5 up here as well. Otherwise, like I said, we'll just race across this because there isn't actually anything of any other note really to look at here. We've just got big open green expansive areas. We've got some trees scattered around, but like I said, the world really is your oyster. There's a little bit of a water feature in here. Probably be able to come and fill up your vehicles from here if you wanted to get some water, but there are some pretty good options out there for that already. But yeah, like I said, not a huge amount to see on the frontier, but plenty of space to come through and make this your own map. So a very, very cool little idea. I know the FarmSim guy had quite a lot of input into it, kind of suggested the idea to Ola, said what would be involved in getting a map made, how quickly could you put something like this together, and this is the end result. So it's great to see it being iterated a little bit further. But that's New Frontier. That has 16 big fields. Let's go and take a look at the two new versions, the one with 69 fields and then also the one with more forestry focused. So here we are. This is the 69 farmland version of New Frontier. More farmlands, more smaller plots of land for you to buy, and I guess give a little bit more option for progression. I suppose start out small and potentially get bigger. But basically where we are, you can see is pretty much exactly the same. We've got the diesel point over there, vehicle workshop, and behind us is the shop and the store trigger in there. But pop up the PDA and we'll have a look at that. So immediately looking at the PDA, it looks very familiar. We're here at the store area. We've got the 5 predefined fields. We've got the warehouse, the sell point, the animal dealer, and the sawmill, all up in exactly the same location, right down to the hills and everything. It is, for all intent and purposes, exactly the same map as the previous version, New Frontier. The one difference is, of course, we'll just go through to our farmland and have a look here. Instead of each of these squares being one big farmland and 26 odd hectares, we've got smaller 6.5 hectare plots, which are a lot cheaper to buy, $177,000. So depending, actually, that one's quite cheap. I wonder what that is. Rationale behind that one being cheaper must be something, potentially the number of trees maybe on it. I don't know. That'd be interesting actually to figure out whether that comes into it. I thought farmlands were all very much the same, but maybe the game now can look at it and go, well, there's more value on this piece of land because it's got trees on it. Interesting and fascinating to know the rationale behind that, but you go, field 41, farmland 41 if you're looking for a cheap place to start. So once again, it looks like we're flying over exactly the same area as where we went before. Spin our way around here. Really is not a huge amount of difference to this one versus what we had previously. Still got the hill, still got the trees, you've still got the big open area. The main difference really is in the size and number of farmlands. They're smaller, they're easier to buy and easier to progress, although I guess it makes it a little bit harder when you do start off with a smaller one right off the bat. So there you go. If you want to get into a sort of start your own adventure, build your own farm, this one would be a good one to give you some bit more of a challenge, I think. A bit more of a challenge. But yeah, like I said, not too much more to compare this to the previous one. Go and look at the next one and you'll see a much bigger change. So here we are, New Frontiers Forestry, and just looking out of that view from exactly the same start point we've been at for the previous two maps, there is a lot more trees on here. Again, everything's familiar. We've got the same vehicle store, we've got the same vehicle workshop and fuel points, and if we take a look at the PDA, we've got the same predefined fields, we've got the same sell points, and everything is exactly the same, down to the fact that this one was the cheaper version of all these farmlands that we looked at just before. But yeah, exactly the same. There's not a huge amount of difference in this, except for what we just talked about with the number of trees. And if we just press this button and go up, you start to see that there isn't quite as much open grassland as there was previously. There is now a huge number of trees in there. So if you want to get into some forestry or challenge yourself a little bit harder in creating your own sort of area, create your own farm, create your own adventure, then this is definitely the one for you. There's a couple of little secrets though that isn't on the other two, and if we just come up here, start to see Ola's snuck in a couple of buildable houses sites on here. So we've got the one here, triggers all become visible when you buy the farmland. So I guess being a forestry focused map, gives you an option to come in and sort of build. So if you wanted to start maybe with the land 16 here, you could come in and that could be one of your first challenges. Let's build the farm. I've got the same as we come across. There is still some big green areas, so I'm sure if you wanted to start out with a bit of farming as well as the forestry, you could get in and do that. But I'm just going to head over this way, over to where the water is, and just up on top of the hill. Nice little spot, beautiful view. Come in here into this, and you can see we've got another farmhouse here. So if you want to start over this way, field or plot 51, I think is the right one to buy, and you'd be able to get in and build that. Might be 59, right on the border there. It isn't 59, so nice little view looking back down over the pond and stream and that. But so many more trees on this, so many more trees. Some big ones too, so real potential to make some money, but will require some effort and time. And if you're over this side, you might want to invest in one of the smaller customizable sawmills just to be able to do it yourself, because it's a long way to haul everything back over to the other side. So I don't think there is too much more to share about New Frontiers other than to say, to have a map like this so early on, and the speed and pace which Ola was able to iterate it with, and to have come up with 3 different versions already, and sort of looking at progressing the map a little bit further, giving players more options, more ideas, more features, is fantastic. Now the map is with giants for testing. I know that Ola had picked up a couple of things and he's had to sort of pull it out and push it back in a couple of times, so hopefully we're not going to see it too much longer. Of course, no way to tell now because the testing list is gone, so we can't follow along with progress or anything like that as to when it is on the list and how long the expected testing list is. So it is what it is. You'll just have to wait and be excited when it does finally pop up on the mod hub and you're able to play with it. But there we go, New Frontier from Ola Haldor, design ideas from the Farm Sim guy, 3 different versions for you to play on, for you to play the way you want to go ahead and sort of create your own adventure, have your own fun. So I hope you found this video useful and informative. As always, thank you all very much for watching, and I'll catch you in the next one.